Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. Gonna be a pretty short one, to be fair. There was one card on this weekend, which is obviously Bloodline, Sonny versus Galal, Sonny Edwards versus Galal Yafai. I didn't get a chance to see a lot of the undercard. I watched it, but I wasn't like watching it from an entertainment standpoint. I was in transit when it was happening. So I saw all the results and everything. So I can kind of just give some quick views and stuff from what I saw, what I thought. I mean, in the before the bell portion, I think Aaron Bowen and James Todd was a very good fight. I did manage to watch that one. Aaron Bowen been out of the ring for like I think 15 months, and you know he got dropped in that fight, but also dropped Todd. You know, beat him up with a body shot, delayed reaction, managed to get the knockout victory that way. Callum Smith came back. You know, after how long was it? Like a year, and wasn't it January 2020? No, it was January this year that he got knocked out by Better BF. So yeah, I mean he's been out for almost a year. It was like what 11 months or so. But he come back, dusted off the cobwebs. Now he says he wants big fight next year. Okay, well, we'll see. Apparently Joshua Boatsie's kind of been talked about. So we'll see if that is what takes place in terms of the light heavyweight division for him. Again, it wasn't so I didn't see all of the fight, but I saw about 3 of the rounds. You know, pretty standard fare. Tyler Bevan against Greg O'Neill. I mean, he also got a good KO victory. I think it was like his pro debut as well. And to be fair to Bevan, I mean, he's got a really good jab. From what I saw, the jab was varied. It was powerful. He brought it back to the chin every time, from what I remember seeing. So really good pro debut, very composed, very measured, didn't rush anything, didn't, you know, get giddy when he had his opponent hurt. Just worked well. So he's definitely piqued my interest in terms of, you know, his trajectory moving forward. Shout out to him. On the main card, I mean, look, Hamza Udin did what he needed to do against Ben Norman. It wasn't the greatest of fights, but it was an all right fight. It was you know, he's now 3-0, still only 1 KO victory. So I knew he wouldn't get the KO. I just figured that he's got the speed, he's got sort of a bit of the flash, but there's just a little bit of that fundamental, you know, that sitting down, that picking the shot that he's not quite developed yet. So that will come in time, but Hamza Udin, you know, goes to 3-0. Well done to him, but also well done to Ben Norman, because he definitely, you know, didn't just come to lay down. He came thinking he could win, and he gave it a good shot. Let's talk Cameron Vaughn versus Gavin Gwynn. Now, again, I haven't been able to watch the fight, like as in watch it round by round scoring. Again, I was driving when the fight was on, so it was on. And I was glancing in between, you know, obviously watching the road as you're supposed to be and watching my sat nav. From what I saw, after about 5 rounds, I had it about 3-2 to Cameron Vaughn, just kind of from what I was seeing. But it looked like he was getting walked down, getting pressured. And that's the exact thing I said in basis picks. Like, he's going to, you know, he's going to be looking to move. How long is it going to take before he starts to slow down and Gwynn has that success? Because Gwynn is going to keep coming forward. I said that I feel like Vaughn may have enough of a shot on him whereby Gwynn just doesn't feel like he's going to disrespect the power and just walk through it constantly. But to be fair, he actually did. Now, that ended up costing him in terms of, you know, he got his eye busted up a little bit. Big swelling over the eye, like he was taking big shots throughout the entire fight, but he was getting into range. He was just letting his hands go, even though they weren't even big heavy punches. There was like a lot of it was pitter patter, but it was connecting. So I guess is it the cleaner, harder work that the judges were looking at? Was it maybe the maneuvering, and maybe just the fact that Gwynn was being a bit crude at times? again, I said that Vong would win, but it would be like a horrible, like a sort of a nasty fight for him, but maybe a clear victory, like a very competitive fight, but a clear winner. That may have been wrong, because a lot of people seem to be suspecting that Gavin Gwynn was indeed robbed, or maybe unfairly not given a decision. If robbed is not the word you want to use, I can't really comment. But I did get that one right. I got the method right, same as I did with Hamza Udin. I did predict he would get a decision victory. Kieran Conway and the Conor Walker fight switched, so I had them the other way around initially. I thought Conway was going to be the main event. I mean, the chief support, sorry. Now, again, I predicted that Kieran Conway was going to beat Ryan Kelly, but I did say it will be points. It was going to go long. Neither guy's got that much punching power. Neither guy's going to necessarily like hurt the other one. It's not going to be, a totally boring fight, if we're going to say, from that perspective, but it's just, it's going to be a decision. And I didn't actually realize it was a 12 rounder. So, yeah. Not great, but Kieran Conway got the decision as predicted. Now, Conor Walker and Lewis Ritson, I got the right person, but this is the first one of the basis picks where the method was wrong. I thought that Conor Walker would get the stoppage. I thought that 2 of the 3 losses that Ritson had were via KO, and a lot of that KO, it wasn't just like one shot punch power. It was about like capitulation. It was about wilting, someone just sort of just staying on your chest, like just at you, and you can't get away from them. And that's something that Conor Walker does brilliantly. And I just thought after sort of 5-6 rounds, come sort of round 7, round 8, that pressure's going to get too much. Those shots are going to just start landing. Conor Walker's just going to turn it up a little bit, because he's always got the engine to keep going, and Ritson would capitulate. Did not turn out that way. Ritson came in, I mean, he didn't win many rounds, but he held himself well, and in those last couple of rounds he actually let his hands go and buzzed Walker a couple times, to where he couldn't just walk him down like he was doing earlier. Again, didn't see the whole thing, but I saw enough of it to see the way that the fight kind of went and the trajectory that it was going to go. So congrats to Conor Walker. And you know what? I know that they're going to say, oh, we're past this, but considering he hasn't actually fought in the UK for over 2 years at this point, almost 2.5 years, it will be probably closer to 3 years by the time that his next fight comes around. I know they're talking about Mario Barrios, but I would love to see Conor Walker and Conor Benn. Have that as Conor Benn's like return fight. And if you're gonna say that he needs they're going to say, oh, he needs a warm-up or something. They're talking about the Barrios fight. I don't see it happening. Not next, personally. But if for nothing else, that's a great action fight. It's also a fight to get you back into fight shape. And if you ain't at the level you need to be, Conor Walker will beat you. So, personally, I like it. I know it will never happen. I know that Eddie will never risk that, even though, Conor Walker has actually got quite a big following that does support him in the Midlands. Chances are Ben wouldn't be fighting him in the Midlands. So would they travel down to London? And obviously it's going to have to be a main event or a co-main on a card, because it's Conor Benn. I don't know. But yeah, I would like to see that fight personally as a return fight. But yeah, that's my idea. Let's see what comes of that. Now, main event. Again, I got the prediction right, but the method was horribly wrong, because I predicted that it would be competitive in the first 6 rounds, but Sonny might kind of be edging it for that 4-2 in those first 6, and then after that, sort of Galal will be able to sort of ramp up certain pressure, even though Sonny will, still be in the fight, maybe be able to get a round here or there. Like Galal may just, basically take over, look a lot more dominant, and probably eke it out on a split decision, like a 7-5 type scorecard. That was what my prediction was. A lot of factors kind of went into that prediction, but yeah, Sonny Edwards getting TKO'd in 6 rounds was not something I saw at all. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I didn't think that Galal hurt him, but from that very first moment of the first round, like, Sonny looked like he was stuck in the mud. I don't know what he had been doing in training prior to that. I don't know how he'd been, working in terms of his boxing, because, from just last year, he was talking about how he's looking to be, 34, 35, 36, just in the ring. He says it doesn't matter, if I take losses, there's only ever going to be to the top guys, and I can always come back, and I'll, if they beat me, I've always known I'm going to be able to beat them. Something changed. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's a health thing. Maybe it's a realization that I'm not actually the best. And if I'm not the best, then why am I here? I'm not here to just be an also-ran. Maybe that's the thought process. I mean, people change. Obviously, he didn't have a trainer in for the start of this camp, which a lot of people raised a red flag to, which also to me seemed a bit strange. But that being said, I don't feel like you would actually need a trainer for, number one, Galal Yafai, because you've shared hundreds of rounds. You've done hundreds and hundreds of rounds of sparring over the years. I think that last time they sparred was in 2022. You know what he does in the ring. Yes, you might need a trainer just to keep an eye out or give you certain tactical things that maybe you're not doing correctly, but you know what this guy is. He knows what you are. So ultimately, all you need to do is make sure that you do your runs in the morning, do your weights, make your, eat the right food, and make sure that you get into the ring healthy and on weight. But you got a trainer in eventually, and yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, he was giving him the right advice in the corner. I can't remember the name of the new trainer, so apologies. But yeah, he was giving him the right advice, but Sonny just wasn't able to do anything with it. And even Grant Smith was there also shouting instructions in the arena as well. So it's not like, everyone was like, oh, well, I wonder what's happened between them two. No, they're still good. Sonny obviously has been in the corner several times of other Grant Smith fighters since they, stopped training with each other. So it's all amicable. For a lot of people don't even realize part of the reason that he had to leave Steel City was conflict of interest. Obviously you got Janae Boston who's there, but he manages Ishmael Davis, so you can't really be in the gym with the same trainer that's basically training someone to beat a fighter that you've invested time and money in. Like, conflict of interest, it doesn't look good. So that was one of the reasons he kind of had to leave, and I think there's a couple others that possibly train there as well, and it gets a bit awkward from time to time. So it makes sense. But outside of that, nothing to do with the fight. Again, it's not one where I literally sat down and was able to pick every single round, but from the first couple of seconds of round number 1, Galal Yafai just straight on him, big shots, loads of headshots. Sonny's obviously trying to slip and ride and roll a lot of stuff, which he does quite well. He did fire back a little bit. I think he had some success back in like the 4th round, but between the first round and the second round, the trainer said, yo, you good? Like, how you feeling? And he's like, can I be honest with you? Like, I feel like I don't even want to be here, or something along those lines. Instantly, when you hear that, that's alarming. Now, quite frankly, and the trainer's like, I'll get that out of your head. Da, da, da. But I can't lie to you. If that's me and I hear my guy say that, I'm waving the fight off. If you're telling me that I don't even want to be here, like right now, on one of your biggest nights of your career, you're mentally checked out. If you're mentally checked out, that possibly means that damage could be coming your way. Now, I'm not necessarily a proponent of just pulling fighters out like willy-nilly, but clearly, if your man's telling you, I don't want to be here, like, all you can really do at that point is try to protect him from taking unnecessary damage, because if that's your mindset, you almost are not going to win. There's no way for you to be able to win that fight, because now the most you're going to be able to do is, if you're either going to maybe either throw one salvo to try and basically get it over and done with, or you're going to tuck up and just try and defend yourself and just take punishment for no reason. Like, it doesn't sound like you've got the drive to try to go out there and do what it takes to get the job done. But yeah, I didn't even see the end of the fight initially because I was rushing back. I managed to get back to do my live stream for Survivor Series, which I'm sure some of the people managed to watch. And yeah, from there, I went to, I had to sort of get back onto the TV. Luckily, I was able to get onto the screen and see the, I rewound it to see sort of how the fight ended because people were telling me in the chat, yeah, it was a bit of a soft stoppage, but you know, he wasn't throwing back, whatever. I saw it and I can agree when Sonny was even saying to ref, oh, but like I'm defending myself, but yeah, like it didn't look good and it wasn't really looking like the tide was about to change considering it was 6 rounds of that same level of punishment. It was only a matter of time before ref decided to jump in. If it was in America, they would have left it, they wouldn't have done that. But yeah, over here, especially right, if you're unanswered and it looks like you're taking the barrage, they will jump in and stop the fight. So it is what it is. And subsequently, Sonny announced that he's retiring from boxing, said he doesn't have the same passion and drive, and something's changed in the last year. And I know what's changed. You got beat. Like the aura of invincibility that you felt you had is no longer there. And even though you might talk up a good game about, well, I don't mind, losses happen, I can ride it out. Like you built a career on, I guess, being that guy and being the man. And when you're no longer the man, and it's quite clear that there is someone that is better than you that you probably won't be able to beat in the future, psychologically it's like, well, why am I here? That's what it feels like, which is a shame, and in terms of him as a character, he's a good character for the sport. But funny enough, shout out to Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV, because he had a little bit of an interview with Sonny the other day, and Sonny made certain comments in that interview which kind of almost alluded to the fact that he was going to be basically having this be one of his last fights, if not his last fight. There were certain things that he said in that, and Danny Glover didn't even ask him specific questions, but he just, Sonny likes to talk. You just put a battery in him and he goes. And he just, there's a couple comments he just mentioned about, did you ever think that you'd be getting nights like this? And all of a sudden he started talking about, us 5'3" man, and how, this is sort of, these are the only kind of nights that you can really be up for. But there comes a point where, is it enough? I think he said something along those lines. Go check out that interview. I'll put it in the description box down below for you guys to check out. But I listened to certain things he said in there, and it just sounded like almost like he had one foot out the door. And obviously, knowing, because he's been managing fighters over the last couple of years or so, he's spoken about, getting things in play for, when his career eventually does come to an end. But all of that stuff you're saying at the age of 20, 27, 28, it all seemed a little, and obviously he'll be 29, I think, at the start of the year. So, if he leaves the ring now healthy, fully intact, brain intact, not slurring, not stuttering, not stumbling about the place, still sharp, probably made enough money that where he lives, he can live a good life, still get regular paydays as an analyst or as a manager. He's probably made enough to live comfortably for the rest of his life, because he doesn't seem like the flashy, over the top type of guy. So yeah, I'm sure that he'll do well. So, look, good luck in retirement. I'm sure we'll still see Showtime Sonny Edwards around. Maybe he might decide he wants to come back in 2-3 years. Sometimes people do that. They get the bug and they want to come back. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. In terms of Galal, I mean, he did well. He did what he needed to do. Like, you can't really fault him for what took place. But ultimately, now 9-0. What is it? I think he's 6 KOs now, 7 KOs on the record. He's now going to be going against Kenshiro Taraji as his next challenger. Possibly. We'll have to wait and see if that fight happens. But if that fight does take place, if it takes place in Japan, or if it takes place over here, I'm definitely going to it, even though I've got to buy my own ticket. If it takes place in Japan, probably not. But I will definitely be watching on either DAZN or probably Amazon Prime, because that's where he normally fights from. but that will be a great fight to watch. Galal Yafai will definitely have the advantage, the size advantage, even though Taraji's got all the experience, but he is the naturally smaller of the two men. So that will be a very interesting feat. But yeah, it looks like it's Galal's time to reign in the division, and it looks like it's the Galal, the Yafai name that has reigned supreme in this rivalry between all of the brothers. So such is life. Anyway, with that, I'm going to leave it there. I've got a few other bits and pieces I need to do. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as always. And I will catch you on the next one. But until then, peace.